All right, guys, welcome back. You idiot you see on the left of Zombie Grub with sunglasses in a dark room. He's actually just recently had laser eye surgery, so he's recovering. What's up, Terminator? How you doing, dude?
Pretty good, you?
I'm doing dandy. We actually got a really awesome Corsair Cup going on, and pretty nice finals. But as mentioned before, again, this is one of the really cool Patreon rewards that Terminator has been. We've actually had people at this reward, but he's the only one who's claimed it. So cool.
Cool beans.
I guess before we get into it too, let me just move this down here, move things around. Sorry, your face is gone now, buddy. Get Zombie back up there. What do you think of the finals, Terminator? Before we get into this, let's hear your predictions, Mr. Guest Guy.
All right. I really like the way Lambo's playing. uThermal though, I think the smart money's on him, but he did beat Neve, and that's impressive. So I'm probably gonna say uThermal. It's best of 5.
Best of 5. Yep.
Yep.
I think it'll be a 3-1 for uThermal.
Okay. Well, we'll get you to mute yourself here as we put you in the background and get Zumgra's face back up. Quick reminder too, currently Snipe Hunt is the bit boss, but the final boss of the day is going to get a portrait code from us, something super rare that you cannot get anywhere else, only through this. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to kind of agree, like lean towards Terminator's guess there, but I don't know.
I like his reasoning. It's solid.
Was he really playing fucking Geometry Dash again? Is that why he wasn't?
Of course he was. Of course. I guess you can pause it really easily, otherwise you wouldn't bother.
I love the idea of uThermal being such a go kind of guy. Like he can't not do something. Like just sitting there waiting for the game to start. No, I gotta play Geometry Dash.
It looks really fun. There's so much happening. It's a very simple side scroller that has that, you know, like the it seems to be more popular lately that it's super fast, right? Yeah, the quick reflexes instead of like the slow platformers. But it has these crazy backgrounds that constantly change and are super psychedelic. I could see being addicted to it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Corsair Cup Grand Finals for this first week, first episode of Season 4. Still talking about Geometry Dash.
That's too much. Good God.
Spawning here, the bottom right, playing for Team Liquid, it is none other than uThermal.
The top left is the red Zerg. He is Lambo.
I don't know what style Lambo's playing right now for TVZ. I think it's actually a really big question for this. Because on one hand, if he is doing like the Roach Ravager and the Infestor like a lot of others, Snoot and Nurture and otherwise, I think that this could maybe be trouble because it's an abusively frustrating thing to do. On the other hand, though, if you guys watched WCS Europe this week, uThermal's actually got some really sick late game. I think if Lambo's going to do your conventional like Lings into like Hive Tech, I don't think it'll actually work out for him.
Yeah. The thing is, I think it will maybe look a lot like the PVZ, or ZvT rather, I guess, for Lambo, in that the early game all-ins or cheeses or surprise attacks might just be able to work out really well and give him a lead that is super beneficial. But when it comes to straight-up mid-game, late-game games, like that Proxima game versus Neeb, that's uThermal's. But the difference is, of course, the matchup. And when it comes to all-ins and surprises and cheeses versus Terran, there's really only one popular one, right? And that's the Roach Ravager all-in.
Ugh, that really stupid. Well, actually, I say it's stupid because uThermal's actually really good at defending it.
Yeah, it's you know, we kind of joked before we saw one guy lose to it twice, right? That we just hadn't seen it work, really. So why do people keep doing this? But it does. In the right circumstances, the right, you know, pacing of the best of 5, and against the right player. And you're going to have players that are just not going to do it against someone like uThermal or whoever else because they know it's going to be scouted and prepared for, and they're going to be paranoid about it. And then otherwise, you know, what else do you have as a Zerg player to cheese? I suppose there's the full first into Speedlink follow-up that can be very tricky, and you actually get to cancel in the command center, but even that isn't devastating oftentimes. And then there are still the classic Baneling busts that can happen as well, and that might be something he's looking forward to. But so far, just a very strong macro game, in fact. Third base before even starting that speed. very unlikely that uThermal is going to go for more Reapers on Belshir, so it makes sense Lambo's going to try and get away with this.
Yeah, I think, well, uThermal's a guy who's very much willing to do a lot of Reapers to, like, proxy Raxes or multiple Raxes. A lot of that is map dependent. So, like, even if this wasn't just, like, a normal build, like, even then, it's Belshir, as you point out. I think one of the things, though, again, like, it's just... I can't, like, if you guys didn't watch them, you really missed out. But Snoot and uThermal had, like, the craziest ZvT. I think it was, like, just yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. My timeline's off because I'm not sleeping right. But the point is, uThermal, like, late game, with the Ghosts, late game can hold up against Broodlords, Ultralists. Like, he's so good at this game. But it was so heartbreaking watching his reactions to losing afterwards. Like, you know, feels like Terran can't do anything. Like, I thought I played amazing, but it's just, like, limited by blah, blah, blah.
So I know what you're talking about, and it is really sad to see any player do that, but taking it one step beyond, this entire weekend has felt like European wine 2017. Like, the first day I was like, well, it makes sense. People lost and they're upset, and that happens. And then there were just people that were coming out of the woodworks who don't even play the damn game anymore, helping the complainers depending on what race they were when they were playing. And I was just like, okay, look, I know there's some problems, and some of the games are boring, and some of the games look overpowered, but the way that Twitter was on my timeline for the past 4 days is not how I actually think StarCraft 2 is right now. And I feel like because of all of that, we have this new wave of negativity on Reddit, too, and Team Liquid. Some of these posts popping up, like, is the Void better and shit like that. I'm like, I blame this weekend for that.
Well,
this one weekend.
I will say...
1 week, I guess.
Some of it I'm on board with what you're saying, but part of it, too, is just like, well, one Terran making it through to, like, 16 is crazy to me. Especially when there's some really good Terrans out there. And it's not like none of them tried to compete. But I really don't know if it's as far as to go as, like, I guess, like, the only real direction you go is, like, balance wine, right? But
right. Yeah, exactly. But it's so much more complicated, I guess. And there are definitely problems. I'm not saying the game is perfect, guys, and everyone is, like, wrong when they complain. Well, but it was so overwhelming. Well,
so there's that. But the one part where I would actually give Terran balance wine and maybe some credit here is because we saw very similar results over in Korea simultaneously. In fact, over the last month especially.
That is the trick.
We are used to watching so many TVTs, and we're like, okay, well, Terran's got everyone else, so if the foreigners can't keep up, they can't keep up. But even Beyond and Gumiho and a lot of other people are getting knocked out of Alima Leagues very early. BTSLs end up having PvP finals. Like,
what's so funny, though, like, is that the cast we had before the GSL Super tournament started, Hero was getting slapped. Like, he just didn't look strong at all. And he must have been saving his strategies, right? Anyways, more important here, we had the 2-1-1, but then followed up immediately by 2 other medevacs, and he's including a Cyclone, which is something that we saw from Bunny first, but more and more players are experimenting with it. I still don't like it, by the way, but he does save it.
I think there's some cool merits to what it can potentially do, but you're right. Like, just generally speaking, this is not like a game-changing unit. This is not like the Mothership core being introduced into the matchup.
I don't mind how Bunny does it, to be honest. Like, I still think it's a weird unit to include, because right now it seems like without Widow Mines, without Marauders, without Siege Tanks, 16, then 32, then whatever, Marines and medevacs are so fast and quick, and you can spread them, and their Cyclone is fast, I guess, in terms of attack speed, but it's, you know, kind of hard to control and it can't stim, obviously. And it just seems like it's so weird to include that one tiny little thing. Was there anything else?
I like the creep control going on through this too, by the way. uThermal not really dedicating to an attack after how hard he was shut down in that first one. But Lambo also very quick to band-aid the problem, and twice now he's replaced all the creep just as it's about to disappear. Hydralisk Den's a little bit odd to see. I don't know how much of the Super Tournament stuff you watched, but did you see, I think it was like Solar versus Bunny, maybe, I think it was?
No, I wanted to. I heard about it, so I know where you're going.
Yeah, lurkers were kind of reintroduced to things, which I thought was interesting. And I'm not sure if that's where this is necessarily going, but we'll find out soon. I don't know why you'd go Hydra's too much other than that, especially if you're investing so heavily in banlings. But, oh, did he just manually detonate a bunch of his own banlings?
Kind of looks that way. He must have...
Yo, I think he just did, because we pan over to this crazy explosion. His supplies down, and he's got no units lost, the resources lost in the thousands now.
that does suck.
Oh God, how many was that's the question though?
I thought it was like 10. I thought it was whatever was left over from the earlier attack.
Still,
But
any
I wanna do
amount,
math.
any amount to give for nothing is horrible.
For sure. Lambo a little bit supply blocked right now, but on his way to fourth base and creep spread.
I'm just thinking back on it. Like Lambo's done that in more than one of our casts before. Maybe he just needs to unbind the manual.
It looks, because the way that it looked was that he meant to make more banelings, right? Because he immediately made banelings, or maybe it was reaction. Hard to tell, but it's like you wouldn't hotkey X to E, I think is the baneling morphing, or vice versa, would you?
I don't.
Why would you?
Why would you is the good question. It's a misclick. It happens, but this feels like I can remember other instances of Lambo having this happen in tournament play. Bottom left gets cleaned up. Hold position lanes aren't going to work out too well over there. This group needs to be picked up. That Cyclone's going to be sacrificed. We got Liberators heading to the top right. There is a Spore Colony Queen though, so it's not going to get too much. The Hydras I'm really interested in though, because we talked about this a while back, and I'm just going to bring it up again, where I think like Roach Hydra for a time, or Hydra Ling, like we've seen different fluctuations and variations of them, but never have they had 90 health before. And I feel like this extra little bit of health is making them very difficult to deal with.
So you brought up the Solar versus Bunny game, which, yeah, I didn't get to see. This is oddly timed. Unfortunate. But even before that game, we did see, I think it was Buell, right? On the VSL, try Hydras once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, once was against Bunny when he was already winning, so I like kind of just like didn't even think about it. But then the other time was when it was like a legitimate game and he just ended up losing with it. And I was like, why the Hydras? And I remember we asked Snoot about it at Ting, and he was like, oh, is it like a bad player? And I was like, no, it was like a Korean in VSL. And he was just confused about it. But it seems that people are really ready to experiment with Hydras again in the matchup, and Lurkers too, I guess.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I think it's finally time legacy units get used, right? Ravager joke. Ravager joke.
Oh, I was like, Hydras aren't on legacy.
Okay, right here, there's not a great Widowmine shot goes off. He is investing in more Widowmines though, but production's kind of slow. Bunker will hold for a moment, but this is so much Zerg coming in. Thing is though, Lambo is off creep, but uThermal's not going to give chase. He just kind of sacrifices everything. I don't know if a trade's going to be the idea. He wants to hold underneath this and hope that like the Liberators will keep back the Hydras and all that, but well, tries to trade a base for a base and might just get it.
Yeah, the base for a base might be worth it because uThermal does have a fourth already on location. He doesn't quite get the base, just gets the drones.
Going to the main's not going to work out.
Yeah, I don't think uThermal comes away with enough army supply.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Lamb's going to clean this up, and then he's going to attack again, right? And what does uThermal really have to defend against it?
Sneaky bacon hero. He's top bit boss again after cheeking in 75 bits.
Oh. More I know. I'd be surprised if Lambo uses the grid layout, though.
What?
But Z is apparently the same for explode and make on the grid outlay. Wow.
Oh. That seems like a big issue. Widowmines don't get the hits they need, though. So even though he manually detonated a good handful of Veilings, Lambo is able to take out that victory and secure game 1 in this best of 5. Man, I almost wish we could forcefully insert a break just so I could go to the replay and see how many. Because this is where you're gonna balance one, right? Like, oh, Zerg kills 20 of his own Veilings, still wins the game.
Yeah. It would have been so important, right? Whether it was 10, 20, or 30, small to large numbers, if there was pressure. But really, that game was a lot about uThermal not being able to apply any pressure. Clean up a creep spread, sure, but otherwise, just not doing too much to scare Lambo.
And I'm actually worried. Like I'm hoping this isn't the case, but there's like a decent chance that his TVZ confidence might just be shaken. I mean, again, like watching the way he reacted to his loss, all this other stuff, but. Before I get too into uThermal, like we gotta go back to Lambo for a moment. Like again, revisiting that Polt versus Lambo series that I got like absolute shit on YouTube for like saying Lambo's good. I still believe that's the case, and he is objectively a good player. So Like, if he does win this series, it's not necessarily because, oh, uThermal's playing badly. Like, uThermal might play well, but Lambo can just play better. Possibly.
Yeah, Lambo. I mean, not that Neeb's games were like the best Neeb I've ever seen, and Lambo still took him down. Like, holy shit. I do still get this it's something to talk about though. Like, if Lambo theoretically 3-0s uThermal, and you're like, well, I guess Zerg is just really good. It's like, well, he also won against Neeb, a Protoss player, so is Zerg just really good in all matchups now? That's not what I heard on Twitter. Oh. Joking aside, uThermal's taking his time choosing the map.
Yeah, he tends to do this. All right, so we're going to go to a small break, guys, and we'll see you in 2 minutes. Thanks for watching. All right, folks, we're back. We're going to get into the game in a moment, but someone was asking in chat, what does the in-game portrait code look like? So here you go. Here's a quick screenshot of the lobby, I guess. It is the Canadian Marine from Hell It's About Time. There is literally no way to get this portrait code. You cannot buy it. You cannot buy it from us, but you can win it by being the bit boss of the day. You can't buy this from Blizzard. You can't buy this freaking anywhere. It's super duper ultra rare. So that's what we're giving out to the bit boss at the end of stream. We had some fights go on though. Hulu Vu also resub for 38 months. Sorry, we can go when they're ready. I love your work. Keep it up. Well, we love you too. Thank you very much. Devin Wolf, though, killed Snipe Hunt, and then Snipe Hunt immediately resurrected, came from the graveyard, pounced on Devin Wolf, and said, fuck you. That portrait code is mine. He's the bit boss again. Anyways, Proxima Station intro. We'll see you guys soon. I definitely forgot to mute that during the intro, so yeah, enjoy the beeps, I guess. Anyways, guys, we're back in game number 2. It's the it's the grand finals for this week's Corsair Cup. The winner, of course, walks away with $60 in pocket, but also seeding towards that monthly finals, which is a $400 prize pool. This, of course, is made possible thanks to the combination of Corsair and Twitch. So thank you both, of course, to our sponsors. If you guys want to support Twitch and us, consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to support Corsair, consider buying their stuff through the links down below. But game number 2 kicks off in the top right with the red Terran player, uThermal.
The bottom left was the blue Zerg. He is Lambo.
Whoop, whoop. Also, who's this just came back in? So I have
Hector.
Hector. It's like the French word for Hector, because they don't pronounce their H's.
What does the French word hectare mean?
Well, it'd be Hector, because they don't pronounce their H's.
What does it mean?
Wouldn't it be just the same as the English for Hector?
Oh, you're trying to say it was a name. I'm going to be honest, Hector did not resonate with Hector for me. Hector. Hector.
Again, Zomgrip hating on Europeans, guys. Just saying.
That's all I ever do. And I think I know better than the pros. So, you know, all those things combined, I know better than those French people. Thank you to Republic Bun for the 3-month resub.
Oh, is this some copy pasta? I'm going to get in on that.
A little bit.
Real quick, by the way, while we have this game open up, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow morning, bright and early, we will, of course, be back with another cast. It's going to be Dong Wars number 2. The first one we had no regret cast it, and you guys, you know, you made your opinions clear. It wasn't bad, but the the observing wasn't great, and blah blah blah. So we'll be doing the observing, we'll be doing the casting, all that good stuff for this one, and it'll be Team BaseTradeTV House featuring, I think, like sort of Drogo, Major, Scarlet. I don't actually remember what the lineup is off the top of my head, but it's the members of the house versus the members of the Chinese house, which has a couple Koreans sitting there, actually.
Yeah, not just Chinese. Although I guess with Cloudy and Time, it's just, well, we have a bunch of foreigners, never mind. I was going to say Korean Chinese versus Korean Chinese, so that is not true at all.
Well, actually, Cloudy just recently went back home to China. Temporarily, he'll be back. And then I think Time comes back after Austin or close to Austin.
Yeah, well, we don't have any Koreans in the house anyway, so it didn't it was a moot point no matter what.
Yeah, well, actually, what's interesting for those who don't know about the Leifang house, you guys might remember last year there's like tons of money being poured into the scene through the Leifang Cup, and then it's just ideally putting Chinese players against Korean players. He's kind of done the same thing, but with training. So he's actually hired and paying for people like Seed, Hurricane, and I think Billowy to come train his Protoss players, like Jim and Rush Crazy, I think was the other one. I don't remember, but I think it's a really cool initiative. Like, that guy is... Yeah, he's probably just some rich dude who loves StarCraft, but I love the way he's actually investing into the players.
More rich dudes should love StarCraft, and
well, what about rich women?
Rich women too. Yeah. Well, dudes is universal, but if you want to be specific, rich woman in this case, in StarCraft 2's case, would be the Jin heiress. She does love StarCraft.
Or so the rumor says.
It's not rumor. It's pretty confirmed.
Well, what's the rumors going on that she's got like the big crush on Rogue or something like that?
Oh, I don't know about that one. Like, I remember we brought that up because there's like a very like abrupt Reddit thread, and I think they just got the two beautiful women who like StarCraft confused. There's a Chinese woman who loved Jaedong like 2 years ago. Anyways.
Beautiful woman in Korea who likes StarCraft? Are we talking about Reina from the VSL?
No.
Ripkin, can you get over this crush, please?
I'm just like, yeah, I don't think you see, like, the girl who had a crush on Jaedong was a model, literally, and the Jin Air
oh my god! I can't
that
believe he just did that. 6 health of that medevac.
Yeah, let's talk about StarCraft 2 instead. It's a bit of a weird setup that uThermal has here, though. Like, sure, he almost lost the medevac being aggressive, but it looks like he really is intending to do something else, and that is a drop behind the rocks with tank. Very old-fashioned King Jaedong stuff here. Some Zergs, I guess, were dealing with this for like a week or two so often that we did see that preemptive tear down the rocks, but it was just not as good as like the King Jaedong tactic. So, we haven't seen rocks broken down in a long time.
Well, I want to say it's far less common too, right? Like in King Sejong, it was the natural that was getting forced. You had to deal with that. This is the third. And to be honest, losing a little bit of money in the third, not nearly as devastating as if your natural base was shut down. Also, there's Widow Mine. Okay, that was some pretty good last second splits, but still got 11 Lings killed. That was nice. That was really nice.
Not bad. Queens are supposed to be helping. They kind of trip out a little bit, but still, I think it's not that great a position with that many units, so it's really usually not the worst thing to clean up for the Zerg player. And as long as they don't mess up their macro completely on the backside, it's not too bad.
This doesn't even trade out too badly, to be honest. uThermal gets some really nice kills. A lot of Lings die. Queens get forced out, too. A lot of transfuses burned means no creep spread, right?
Well, that's all good points. Trying to do some more damage. The very injured medevac. And back home, just getting a 3rd CC upgrades. Dim. Coming out pretty well with his medevacs.
Yeah, I like seeing that production, but as you point out, 3rd CC is going to start floating over now, so he'll get that that money game back on point here in just a moment. Oh, getting Overlord kills. That Widow Mine still being a nuisance. Picks it up. God, this medevac's low. uThermal plays so fast and loose with these medevacs. I don't like it. It makes me uneasy.
That's kind of him, though, isn't it? For a long time. Oh, wait a second. But for a long time, uThermal had that problem that every Terran had, really. It wasn't just his problem, that like they were like over dropping and over just being too aggressive, especially during the Ultra Age. And he learned to, really, roll back and be a little more conservative and not lose medevacs as often. So it's his way of playing, and it's dangerous, sure, but sometimes the reward is totally worth it.
Well, this will be nice. Widow Mine going down should mean these Lings don't get to stay too long. In fact, I love that on Burrow to make sure he gets a better hit later. Positioning the mineral lines, though, looks to be a little bit too prime. The Banelings will finally push this off. He just picks up and goes to the main. Once that Queen's finally distracted, too, he'll come back in with that other medevac.
Yeah. Still a full drop here. It's not too,
oh, no.
too scary, I suppose. Did have some damage potential. Bailey survives. Gonna get out of there. Nice. Of course, seeing the gold base and realizing that at this point in time, he hasn't done really too much damage. and he has units obviously just stuck in corners and stuck in weak medevacs, uThermal is going to prep for the later stages of the game. Rip. Go for 4th CC, even getting his tank upgrades in a second factory. He hasn't been building tanks, but I assume that's what he's going to do. The second factory? He could get drilling claws, but I think he knows that it's hydrogen again, right? So I would be surprised if he invested more into photo mines.
The Reaper Grenade was a good idea, I think, in concept. Didn't really work out, though, with so many units. GG? He's just gonna tap out. Wow, okay.
That's, I think that's the biggest sign yet that he just isn't feeling the matchup.
Yeah. By the way, Propagair says, well, it's tagged to Zombie. I'll reiterate this. He says, could you please tell me how to win the Canadian Marine portrait? So, if you guys don't know how cheering works on Twitch, there's like bits. And when you cheer bits, thank you, Bacon Hero, appropriate example, it does damage to the health bar of whoever's at the current boss. And you'll dethrone the boss and become the next boss. It does have overkill mode on, but that's kind of not working right now, so don't really fuck with that. You might lose your bits. But the point is, whoever has their name up in the top right when we turn the stream off is the one who's going to win the portrait code. So again, to give you guys another look at what it looks like in game. Whoop. But I don't know, does uThermal need a break, or are we jumping into the next game right away?
He hasn't sent me a map, so...
Well, then I'm going to assume he's playing some more Geometry Dash, and we'll see you guys here in 2 minutes. Thank you for watching. We'll be back soon with Game 3 when we return. All right, we're back. Game number 3, and this is kind of match point. Quick note, a Snipe Hunt says, I already have the portrait from Hell to Boot Time. Well, dude, we got some other cool prizes we can send you. We got some cool physical stuff that we had myself and Zombie signed while she was here, so... if you end up being the bit boss of the day, we can get you a secret special extra package. But for everyone else, it's the Canadian Marine portrait. Or I guess alternatively, you can just have a code to loom over and give to like somebody else. Again, they are...
You say loom over. I thought you were going to just be like, nah, 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 nah.
Kind of, yeah. I got it on 2 accounts. Or just give it to like your best friend, or give it to somebody in chat. I mean, I'll let you pick, Snipe Hunt. If you are the bit boss, it's all you, man. But anyways, we are getting into game number 3. This could be it. Not looking good for this guy in the top left. I'm praying for the comeback. It's going to be the blue Terran, uThermal.
In the bottom right is the red Zerg. He is Lambo.
So I think there's some people in chat talking about this, right? Like, oh, I'm surprised he's not like just tilting out of the tournament and blah, blah, blah. And like, I get where uThermal's coming from. We've actually seen this a lot, right, over time, especially because this matchup for him for like a year and a half was just his worst matchup, and then he got good at it for a while. Then I guess he's just not feeling it right now. I think the thing is, though, uThermal is at his core a professional, and I don't think he would ever rage quit out of a tournament. But he does get to these points where you know he's just fed up because he's like, you know, I don't care what the next map is. You pick.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart when we get to that point, because kind of going back to what we talked about at the start of this, Therminator, our guest visitor today, talked about, Thermal looking good, Lambo looking good, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I think uThermal is, on a good day, almost unstoppable. But when he does have a bad day, it gets really bad. It actually reminds me a little bit of Neeb, right? Once you crack Neeb's confidence... Once you crack Neeb's confidence, the guy falls apart. This is the guy who killed Kespa. He's got an Achilles heel, and I think that's about the same for anybody to a degree.
Everyone has their breaking point.
They certainly do. Thank you, by the way, to Propagair. 1,000 bits, 900 health, the new bit boss.
Yeah, I think he was the one that was asking how to donate them. Yeah, he was. He figured it out. Yeah, it's sad to see any, because like, this is, I gotta say, I think before this past 2 months, I think it was 2 months ago where Nurchio said the same thing. I haven't had players tell me to just pick a map in a finals, and it's happened 3 times now in the last 2 months. So. It's worrying, but it seems to be that some people really hate the map pool. Can never forget that aspect of it, even if it's not the highlight topic of the week or the month or whatever. And then on top of that, there is a lot of very passionate people talking about balances and imbalances. So I feel like it's wearing on a lot of people. It makes me sad because TVZ is usually a pretty baller matchup. It's QQ.
I know it's not like conventional to do, except for like expansions. But I wonder, rather than trying to tweak and balance everything around like the existing units, would it be better to just add something to Terran for a specific scenario and a specific matchup? Like you add this unit that is going to be absolutely dog shit terrible in TVT and TVP, but would be effective in TVZ or something.
I can't answer because that might not be the problem, right? That's the whole thing, and that's why I made a somewhat troll tweet.
Well, so for me, like, I think about the problem. It's like, okay, how do you fix being overwhelmed by banelings and links? Well, you go Widow Mines. But if you buff Widow Mines, then it makes it broken versus Protoss. That's
not what I'm saying is may or may not be the problem. I'm saying people would say that Terran isn't the underpowered race.
Oh, I see. Right? Okay, my
like that's. Yeah, exactly. I know, but it.
Oh.
Right, like it's 2 different points.
Now it's Knuckles. Knuckles the Echidna.
Much more important, I suppose. Lambo is going for an all-in. He had a Roach 1 building for some time that uThermal was unfortunately unable to scout until he saw the Roaches just now.
I mean, I feel like his reaction to this isn't too bad. I mean, like the... Oh, I think Propagator knows how that works. We'll talk about that in a moment, though. Cyclones and the Banshee, I feel, though, should be good for the defense on this. As long as he doesn't get overwhelmed by the Lings.
Yeah, exactly. As long as those Lings don't stop those Cyclones. Even then, there's quite a few Roaches to chew through. Dangerous.
I think the SCV pull was good, though, and the Banshee's going to pop out just the right time. So a lot of workers die to this, and this puts Lambo in a good spot economically. But I think at the end of the day, like, this was really dedicated. It's not going to kill him. It's going to do a lot of damage, but it's not going to kill him.
Plus, and then, of course, the question is, how much damage can he do in return?
I feel the Cyclones, 3 of them, and this Banshee should have a lot of good counter potential. Let's not forget dropping mules to help band-aid these losses. But I'll get to Propagator's thing in a moment, because there's Lings that are going to sneak around this. That's going to be a problem.
That's so annoying. It's no issue for any other game. He has Hellions, he has Marines, but he has a lot of very important units that are on the other side of the map here. And they're being defended against by Queens and just, whatever he can get out of his larva as quick as possible.
I like the micro back on the low one. Oh man, these Lings are barely gonna get it.
No cloak. Lings out into the main base, so more SCVs are gonna go down. I think uThermal had a chance when he lost more Lings and didn't do anything on the attack. Or more SCVs rather.
Well,
that's 10 SCVs to 22 work.
I don't know, even with mules, that's a hard assessment to make, right? Like, that's gonna be not great income. And if uThermal had something a little bit extra going for him, like if Cloak was already done, not just started, I think there's a lot more potential for him to start doing something here. But it's going to be a really late Cloak into a really, really late Stim. Like, there's just no economy, no third CC. It's bad times all around.
If that Cloak was done for that first Banshee, that's the Queen's dead, and then, probably, it doesn't have 4 color in time, so it's not like super snowball, but it's something as opposed to really almost nothing that he got. All he did was force Lambo to make more units, but Lambo was getting effectiveness out of the units. It wasn't wasted larva, so it's gonna be a tough game. It is still though that point that's kind of like, well, this isn't just unwinnable. 2 SCVs is unwinnable, but down 10 workers, now down 15 workers. It's like, if you could get his economy stable, God.
Losing SCVs can hurt. But right now, more than anything, like, it'd be better to almost lose an SCV than a mule. Like, he needs the mules to band-aid the economy that he's missing. So the fact that Lambo's picking off fresh mules, that's truly horrific for a Terran player in this situation.
Yeah, that no longer... It's what everyone takes into account when they look at the economies in these situations, because there's a lot of situations where the Zerg attacks and the Terran barely survives, and, well, you say, well, mules. But if they're literally not mining, then you just really... It's like they have drones. How horrible is that?
The income graph right now is just... It might as well be a flat line, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, of course, on top of the lack of economy, he is also not being able to do too much with his Banshees. He's going kind of for the God, I hope this works approach, which is to get as many Banshees as possible. Because if, they're not responded to, they can just snowball.
My problem is that Spire is going to cause issues. So, like, these Banshees are really expensive to invest into, but they don't shoot up. It's going to be such a small amount of non-upgraded Marines. The Ling run-bys aren't being that great anymore, but this is tough. I think a couple of mutas come out, they just trump most of what uThermal's got.
Yeah. Certainly Lambo is having difficulty getting even enough money and gas to get a lot of mutas.
Ooh.
It'll be, you know, 3 or none. Oh ho.
It's not quite gonna get it. Maybe.
So
Oh!
close.
Don't!
Wow.
Cancels it.
Canceled anyways. Damn.
And
But he loses the Banshees, so like, do you need this fire anymore anyways?
Exactly. So the cancel ends up working it really nicely.
On you, uThermal.
All right, so prop gear, by the way, sorry to explain really quick, man. First off, thank you for all the extra bits you threw in. That was awesome. You can't overkill yourself, though. So what I was saying, because he's confused in chat, is why I'm explaining this really quick. You're currently the bit boss. As long as no one dethrones you by the end of stream, you've won. Which, at this rate, might be sooner than later. Regardless, though, the extra bits you threw in don't end up getting added to your current health pool. What ends up happening is you end up healing yourself because you're full health. Like, can't heal yourself. I hope that explains it. Anyways, currently you are the bit boss.
Yeah. You end up using a Phoenix down on a character that's already alive.
Yeah, you gotta use that on undead things to one-shot them.
Yeah.
I always thought that was so cool. That was really awesome. As Cyclone comes in for another attack, I mean, this is getting down to scrappy. uThermal doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of units left. Oh, he gets it, but I mean, at the cost of everything, right? So was that worth it?
Just about everything. Now he is getting his production up back at home, and he's finally stabilized his mineral income. He just was late to the gases because, you know, you need them for a while. But it is interesting still. A game that can still go maybe in uThermal's favor if a couple more things go right like that. He's going to have Sim, he's going to have Medevac. Matt is a very good tool to continue a comeback. He's reduced the worker difference to 9, plus now he's able to use his mules. He even fit in a 3rd CC with the amount of minerals he had.
Actually, on that note, it's really impressive that he, like, the CC is great, but the fact that he actually got this economy back to anything close to stable, he was so far behind from not having those mules work out for him for so long. In fact, once again, revisiting the income graph, you can see just how badly he was behind. You got a couple of spikes when drones were pulled, but other than that, it's still very much Lambo's income game right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And he might just be able to overwhelm with Roaches and Ravagers anyway, because, you know, uThermal been just kind of scrapping away here for his units. You got the Cyclones initially, not even that many Marines, but tanks will take a long time to get into a high number, and that is, you know, what he'll be hoping will defend his 3rd base as soon as Lambo is ready to attack. But Lambo also has to wait for his 3rd base. Probably wants to fit in maybe a few more drones, too. Maybe not. I guess his main is mined out. One of those situations. But he could be overwhelming in numbers. Time will tell. Banshee's gonna get a couple more drones.
Ah, not a bad spot to hold position on, actually. And the Overseer comes in and ruins it all. Ruined!
Lambo has stable mining at his 3rd base. I mean, it's a very odd game because if this was a completely normal game and he's prepping for an attack, he could probably just fit in a 4th, you know, just maybe don't make the extra roach or something like that. But now that it's a weird pace of a game, will he ever get to a 4th? Will he literally be 1 base mining because his main and natural are mined out, but uThermal being Terran can lift his main? All good questions. But I do think that I do believe that puts him on a timer more than uThermal in that regard. But Lambo is moving forward here. He has a 40 army supply lead. He has an upgrade lead as well, as uThermal was just, you know, upgrades are the last thing on his mind for so long. He has a Banshee dealing some extra damage and it probably will never die.
Well, shouldn't, but we've seen complacent Banshees get hit by Crucibles.
That is true. It looks like Lambo has second thoughts about trying to move in to stop that 3rd base, so he is going to try and transition, which now he does need to get to a 4th base eventually. And, well, he plants it down right there as I talk about it.
This is tough, though, because you know what? One of the things for uThermal while this goes on, like, okay, we've already been over it. He's late to the party with his tech. You know, 1-1's only just finishing up. Blah, blah, blah. I think the worst part, though, is because he invested in so many Banshees this game, is actually his air count of, like, things like even just Medevacs. Forget Vikings, forget Liberators. Like, Medevacs are just non-existent. So right now, if Lambo had actually initiated an attack, like, there would be no sustainability to this army.
Yeah, and before that 3rd Siege Tank popped out, that might have done it, but it was a very questionable engagement for both players. There's also something to be said about Lambo maybe choosing to attack from a different angle. Like that north side of the command center is just not defended at all. Will still manage to find a position where tanks aren't helping. Only the one, now two of them.
He's target firing down the Ravagers, which I think is really interesting.
Tanks are dying. Yeah, it's very close. All the Ravagers are dead, but the tank side? No, that one on the high gun, you can't see it. Oh, God.
And the Banshee is still going ham, up to 10 kills, but she's done like probably 20 kills worth of damage. I was going to mention, though, uThermal's choice to focus right on the Ravagers I think was phenomenal. You know, you can worry about roaches later, but it's the corrosive biles that would wear away at your army. By removing all of those immediately, like I think that was the better way to play that out. That was really cool.
And this is a very tough game now for Lambo, who did not have that typical Zerg bank and Zerg economy to back that up. That looked like an all-in that just happened to have infestors coming on the backside because I guess he had a lot of gas. But his army supply, like, don't forget, like, isn't really as good as the number says, Swarps and Ravagers. He needs to get those fungals to make it better again. And he does have them. He does have hatching webs. Well,
this attack's going to be a little bit scary. Nothing here to defend, and Lambo's going to lose a base for it. Gets an infestor, too, right off the spawn. Oh, that's lucky.
And he knows they're here now, so he should be really on point with his pickups and his splits. Hopefully, he scans ahead, I think, specifically for that.
Yeah, I like this. uThermal has certainly started playing, I think, what we're used to seeing him play as. This is a great game. You know, it's funny, though, going back on that point, people are saying, like, oh, we shouldn't be basing, like, balance or saying this, that about Terran off this game. This could just be uThermal tilting. And there's certainly merit to that in the first two games. But a lot of what Zomgrim and I were referencing earlier, it comes from many different results from many different cups. Like, okay, Europe's primarily dominated by Zerg, so statistically there's less Terran wins because there's less Terran. I'll give you that. But in a country like Korea, where Terran has been dominating cups for the last year and a half straight, and for us to suddenly see almost no Terrans in any finals for the last while, like, you know, I'm sorry, I look at the GSL Super Tournament results as well, right? Like, Terran's just not well represented at the moment.
I joked about just like how the Twitter was just so like almost depressing this past week, but there was a reason for it because there was two massive tournaments in different regions
Challenger,
that happened around the same time that people were reflecting on both as they played. So of course there's going to be a lot of talk about it. It's of course up to not even us really. It's up to the balance team to decide if it was all worthwhile listening to.
Well, let's say Medevac in the main got shot down, so there's no escape for these guys, but still getting good trades. Drones haven't exactly been massacred. I love that burrow out of Lambo, though, to save the drones. Like, okay, maybe uThermal scans and it means nothing, but at the same time, like, uThermal's been in this position where, like, I don't know, he's banking a lot of energy, but he's on one base mining. I think, like, taking a new base and muling the crap out of it might be the better option.
He probably should. I thought that's what he would do, as opposed to making a fourth base, as Lambo was almost in the same boat, right? That's why he needed the fourth base. Mine was main, mine was natural. I had 2 resubs. Is
that Banshee still alive? Okay, she's looking for the infestor. Oh, come on.
She missed it.
He scanned it.
Bad patrol is bad. The Herp and Derpin and Le Jourdain.
Le Jourdain and the Herp and Derpin.
Fun word to say. That is a lot of tanks. uThermal invested into a second factory, which, you know, maybe in an alternate universe is too much early on, but has produced quite the sizable army now, and that's important. He's got 2-2 over 2-1, and a couple of infestors have died, of course, bringing down, I think Lambo had 5 initially, down to 2.
Oh, Crossbell gonna take out that drop. Banshee is finally gonna die. No. Got people killing each other on stream while people are killing each other in game. Thank you, nerds, for those bits. We love you. Command center gets canceled. This is unfortunate because he had delayed taking a fourth so long with no main lifted. uThermal's actually out of money, which is a problem. Like, this is the only base mining, and it's currently under attack.
Got a lot of SCDs as well. Been transferred some from the main.
Yeah.
Base for a base.
Yeah, I wonder if he ends up being worse off for this, though. Because uThermal, I'm actually really worried. The infestors are going to be so problematic going forward. Oh, he's barely going to miss that. Oh, Lambo. Go for the fungal.
Oh, lordy. Oh, whoa. Whoa, you saw it?
I guess it dipped barely into range. That was like the edge of the circle.
That's a serious edge, man.
But there's more infestors sharking around. This fungal growth looking to land and hold that bio in place. uThermal the punching bag. And Lambo looking to kill what little's left.
Oh! Oh! Oh, those medevacs almost died, but the
Yo.
tanks weren't helping for so long, and now they're left alone. Maybe Lambo should have just ignored them, though?
Well, you know,
he loses
cavalry.
a lot of roaches engaging that.
Yeah, the cavalry's here, and like most of this army's been exhausted, right? The infestors are gone. A lot of the ravagers are dead. I don't know who this was worse for. I really think Lambo, I thought would have come out of this better, but uThermal, he moves the main, or I guess no. There we go. Now moving the main over.
I think maybe attacking into those tanks is a big mistake. You know, 5 tanks alone is so tempting to just go ahead and kill, but he lost the majority of what was left over because 5 tanks fired down on him, where if he had left it alone, he would have delayed the 3rd CC again, and he would have maybe been able to take him out with just infested Terrans, or, you know, wait until they siege, like either one. That might have been a difference maker, but Lambo is still able to get another army. He's still up 20 army supply, but he is now up against a 3-3 Terran.
There's
quite
just
scary.
There's so much about Lambo's army that is scary, but watching uThermal take these fights, like, I'm sad because I think he's playing really well, but at the same time, like, oh my god, moments like this can be so heartbreaking. Okay, he does keep the medevacs alive, but they're not close to the army. Needs to be healing some of that bio. Ravager's going to cut off the reinforcements. A really dangerous position for uThermal. He can't really engage from either side.
Lambo. Oh, Lambo, send a couple of lings over to that 3rd man. Just send a couple of whatevers. No,
one roach, anything, yeah. Infested Terrans.
There's a lot of bio.
Oh, but he focus fires the tank to ignore the infested Terran. I like that. That was really smart.
Maybe not enough bio. Never mind.
I don't. Yeah.
Actually,
even
you know what? I think most of the suppliers and those medevacs didn't die.
Yeah, even with 3-3, it's 10 medevacs, 1 tank, 5 marines, 4 marauders. Like, it's just not a lot of units.
Yeah, I guess I mistook the CDs for more bio, but it really was just a handful of it, and I think Lambo is recognizing that too. Again, with a bit of a tank problem on the high ground.
I mean, I don't know what to do. You bring him unsieged on the low ground, I guess it helps a bit, but...
Well, I think uThermal can stop building medevacs is the good news.
Yes.
It's just quite important because he stopped mining gas entirely, and any gas he gets should be going to tanks and marauders.
I'd say marauders over tanks, frankly.
Hard call, but yeah, either one. Oh, nice little drop here. Has a scan somehow off of 1 command center.
It's actually a really tough decision to make this late, though, because you are then choosing, like, okay, you know what, almost all in, because there's not going to be more scans.
Oh,
not going to be more mules. No, that fungal.
That helps.
I don't think he did enough damage. The Lambert's still sitting on 41 drones. He's got the other base mining. Like, he wasn't really crippled by this, and the army supply is getting way too daunting. I actually think that it's going to be hard for Lambo to mess up winning this game, and I mean, a 3-0 versus uThermal is goddamn impressive. A lot of people in chat kind of like, who's Lambo? Never heard of him before. But this sort of series, again, I don't think uThermal's playing that bad. I think Lambo's playing pretty darn good.
Oh yeah, I think maybe the other games that he's played, you can chalk it up to maybe Neve didn't look that strong, or he got like the mental advantage. But I really think uThermal was bringing himself back mentally, and in this game with the scrappiness going in his favor. To lose out on it just shows how good Lambo is, and it's probably going to break uThermal for the next couple of days.
And this is why I don't like tanks. Like, he can just cross about from so far away, and there's nothing you can do to maneuver those out of position. Leaves the game. And that's going to be all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, Lambo 3-0 will be the Corsair Cup Season 4 Tournament 1 champion. Of course, uThermal's still going to get like $20 for second place, which isn't too bad. And, oh, well, comments like that could. I can't read that on stream. Regardless, though, I hope you guys enjoyed the Corsair Cup. It's not going to be happening on Sundays. I do want to make sure that's perfectly clear. This one was just because our schedule is a little bit odd for fitting the rest of the month in. I will say it was fun casting on a Sunday. It was nice having something to do after having nothing to cast for so long. But it's going to be Fridays going forward. So Fridays at 10 a.m., so same time. But on Fridays, we're trying it out for this month. If it's no good, we'll go back to Mondays. But it's an experiment. Why do you have this like cheeky shit smile on your face? What are you up to?
Well, I made a tweet earlier, like an hour ago, and it's gonna be like my most responded to tweet ever.
Let me see. What was this tweet? Let me bring this up on stream.
Copy link to this tweet.
Oh, what race needs a buff? I don't know about responded to, but it's definitely gonna be the most participated in tweet you've ever done. All right, I'm not even gonna fuck around. Taryn, easy peasy. Go get on Twitter and vote for yourself, guys. Terminator, you still with us, brother? How you doing?
Pretty good. That was a exciting match. I was not expecting that.
No, I was not expecting a 3-0 at all. I'm just sad because I feel like you got kind of robbed here on the finals cast. But man, it was good having you. Maybe we'll get you in for another one this month to make up for it because it was kind of. But thank you for supporting my Patreon, and thank you, of course, for joining us here for the finals. Do you have any shout-outs you want to get out of the way before we start heading off stream?
Not really, no.
All right, man, a few words.
Good deal.
Right. Leave it like that. Put Zombigra's face back on because, guys, I'm going to tell you real quick, we got another Patreon reward being claimed, and that is the host. Solace Dub wants us to host Fenner because I guess it's his birthday tomorrow or something like that. Or maybe this is like the sickest troll of all time. Either way, I love Fenner. No problem hosting Fenner, guys. So we're going to give Fenner a host, but I want you to go wish him a happy birthday from BaseTradeTV or just spam happy birthday in his chat with hearts. I don't give a fuck. But get over in his stream, and we'll just, I guess, preemptively host bomb him with some happy birthday love. Of course, end of the stream, winner is going to be Snipe Hunt, which I think he said was going to give to Prop Gear, so I'll get that sorted in whispers here in a bit. But thank you guys so much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed the show. It's fun to be back. And like I said, we're not even going to be gone for that long because tonight, 4 a.m. Pacific, so I don't even know how many hours from now that is, we're going to have Dong Wars. It's going to be a best of 9 all kill between 2 of the houses currently in Korea. The BaseTradeTV house members versus the Leifeng Cup house members. It's in 14 hours from the time you're hearing me say this. Also, right here at the end of the stream, we got Monk hitting us up with a 25-month resub, and then Way of the Silent for 23 months. Thank you guys both so much. Really appreciate that a lot. But I want to give Fender the most views for the biggest bomb we possibly can. So, Zombie Grub, any shout-outs from you before we take off?
Follow me on Twitter at ZG. Nope. Follow me on Twitter at Twitch. Wow. No,
wow, you are nailing this.
Damn. Follow me on Twitter at ZG Gaming, Twitch Zombie Grub, and YouTube Zombie Grub. How difficult was that?
Very, apparently. Of course, subscribers, check your inboxes in about an hour or so. You'll have replay packs from today sent out. Oh, I didn't press Terminator left to make the screen region all bunked. All right, we'll fix that later. Well, it's the end of the stream. I don't need to fix anything. I'm done. See you later, last thing I would ask is, of course, consider subscribing to the channel. This tournament and us, we are sponsored by Twitch straight up, so subscribing helps out a ton, guys. Mega Dog, I'll talk to you about that in a moment, man. But yeah, this is what's the other? Corsair is the other shout out. Excuse me. We have the affiliate links down below in the stream. Snipe Hunt's on that game. We got the affiliate links down below in the stream. Please click them if you're going to buy any Corsair gear. And again, well, you might not want a headset. If you click the headset link, but then navigate to any other part of the website, we will still get credit for your purchase, and that's really important for us and all those other things. So Prop Gear also just saw brand new. You guys, we got to end the stream. Thank you so much. We love your faces. And like I said, go give Fender some love. So happy birthday, Spam. And we'll see you guys. Shit. Sparvagon _SC2, $50 donated here at the end of the cast. Says, thanks for bringing another awesome cast. Will you be casting Brood War Remastered as well? Well, first off, that $50, good sir, is not going to go towards us, but we're going to put that towards our mega tournament fundraiser, so you just helped save esports. Secondly, to answer that as we try and leave here, because you guys just don't want us to leave. I love you too. We will consider it for sure, but we are not committing to anything Brood War related yet. A big part of it is just like, I think there's going to be hype around the release, and maybe doing some sort of event with it will be fun and cool. But right now, my focus is on StarCraft, and the option of Brood War is totally there. But just know that we are not like actively planning for it. Hope that's a good enough answer. Anyways, Mega Dog, Snipe Hunt, thank you guys so much. Have a good day, and we'll see you later. Bye.